You can measure the size of an elephant. You can clock the speed of a cheetah, but you can't quantify the heart of a kings, queens, and in-betweens. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. Stream starts now.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, yo, yo. What it do, what it do? Y'all know what time it is, man. The doctor's in the house. My bad, y'all. My bad. Hold on. Get my camera right. There we go. There we go. Get this YouTube sub count right. For the late night creep. You know what I'm talking about? Over here watching some basketball myself. You feel me? Man. Almost ain't make it, right? I always take a long time. I still want to do another video, but man, it takes me so long to edit, but I do enjoy it though. So let's get right to it, man. Before we get started, let's go ahead and say our prayers. That's how we get started. So let's get it started, man. Please join me by your head. So let me turn this down. Man. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for your blessings. Thank you, Lord, for leading us into this Friday night. Please keep us safe, no matter what we're doing, whether we're at home, chilling, or we out and about, outside on the streets, or wherever we may be. Lord, just keep us safe and keep us with a clear mind, and don't let us while we're having fun, while you protect us while we're having fun, please don't let us drive home drunk or intoxicated. Let us do the wise thing and get a designated driver, a DD or Uber, you know, get us home safely, and don't let us make bad decisions, Lord. And just please continue to guide us into this weekend and keep us in your embrace. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's get it, man. He said, my boy Loy in the building. Loy says, F Sam Goodman. Boy, my boy Loy coming in hot. He said, he dropping bombs. He said, F Sam Goodman. He said, you rock with Sam Goodman, F you too. Felt like he making a Tupac diss track. Hit him up. He said, F Bad Boy as a label and a motherfucking crew. And if you down with Bad Boy, then You too. If I was able, I would fight my replace, and then fight MJ. Yeah, so let's talk about it, man. So I just dropped a video on that, man. Now you're in the way. Not fighting Sam Goodman. This is Sam Goodman's third time pulling out of the fight, right? The first time he was supposed to fight Sam Goodman when Sam Goodman jumped in the ring after Naya Inoue beat Louis Neary, right? And avenged Yamanaka, his countryman, for losing to Louis Neary by way of PEDs and being overweight and otherwise cheating, you know. So he avenged Louis Neary, and then Louis Neary, JC, bro, you gotta get a life, bro. If you want to be here, be here. If you don't, then do what you got to do as well. That's the last time I'm addressing it. But yeah, so in a way, in a way, was supposed to fight Sam Goodman because Sam Goodman hopped in the ring after he beat Louis Neary, but then Sam Goodman decided to go another route, you know, and so in a way fought TJ Doheny. And then he was supposed to fight Sam Goodman in December 24th, but then Sam Goodman cut himself. So then it got postponed to January 24th, and now we're here today because Sam Goodman didn't fully recover from his cut. So what is Inoue gonna do? Go check out the video. I told you what I think he's gonna do, but it's kind of like Lloyd said. Lloyd said that he could find a replacement. If he can find a replacement, I don't know who that would be. Doesn't really matter to me. I think that he's probably either gonna fight. I mean, obviously the options are MJ Akhmadaliev, right? Who he should have fought, he's been ordered to fight. David Picasso, who he wants to fight, right? And then, or he could wait for Sam Goodman again, or they could find somebody that would just be a stay busy fight while he waits for Sam Goodman. Either way, doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I prefer him to fight MJ Akhmadaliev, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And now Sam Goodman, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, but just to wait so long again, who's to say that he's not just bull jiving? You know, I don't know what he got going on. So and maybe he is legitimately hurt, but it's starting to look suspicious now. But yeah, so I don't know who he's gonna fight. You also have your WBC guy in the #1 position. He's not a man. He has not been called for the mandatory, but he is in the mandatory position. That's David Picasso, right? Alan David Picasso Romero. So he could fight him too. So we'll see how it goes, man. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was in addition to the Sam Goodman stuff and him being cut, I agree with Lloyd. I'm frustrated too. You know, I'm frustrated with that, with this fight just going so long, you know, and nothing happening. So I'm sure Inoue is frustrated too. But at the same time, you can kind of see it as karma because he shouldn't be fighting Sam Goodman anyway. Like I said, if he should be fighting anybody, it should be MJ Akhmadaliev. And if he's not gonna fight Akhmadaliev, then Akhmadaliev should get his belt. You know, because he shouldn't. He should have the opportunity to fight for that belt, whether it's through Naya Inoue or otherwise, you know, or it's vacated or whatever. But yeah, man, Sam Goodman, if the cut is legit, which I have no reason to believe it's not, besides it looking crazy, I hope he recovers. You know, we have this fight. But if he's faking it to get out of the fight, then shame on him. I don't know why he called him out in the first place. So we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. But moving on to Subriel Matias, man. Subriel Matias. He's getting another opportunity, man. I was gonna make a video about it, but that Naya Inoue news came out, and I thought that was something that more people would be intrigued in. But I need to I wanted to make a video about that. However, we could talk about it now. You know, Subriel Matias. He's getting a fight. First, he was supposed to fight Teofimo, right? Which we knew that wasn't going to happen. Well, we didn't know for sure, but we figured it wasn't going to happen. And sure enough, that came to fruition, where it did not come to fruition and it didn't happen. And then we have him fighting against Elvis Rodriguez, the Dominican, the Dominican kid Rodriguez. Elvis Rodriguez and his team said that Subriel Matias is deserving. I quote, that's what they said. He's not deserving of an opportunity. I don't even know what that means because Elvis Rodriguez is not a champion. And Subriel Matias won his last fight, so I don't know what he means by he's not deserving. Just say that you don't want to fight him, but I understand you got to save face, so you don't want to say that because that'll look bad. But how can you not? Are you not deserving to fight a guy that's not a champion? I mean, neither one of you were champions, so I don't understand that. But hey, it is what it is, man. So that he turned down the fight. So now it's been rumored that he's going to be fighting Gabriel Gonzalez Valenzuela. And if that sounds familiar to you, then you are on the right track because Gabriel Golas, he's been on a nice streak since losing to who did he lose to last? Montana Love. I believe he's on a five fight win streak. So it's not a bad fight. But the reason why it should sound familiar to you is because in November last year, November 2024, it was rumored. Well, before November, it was rumored that Matias and Golas were gonna fight in November. But then Golas, whatever happened, I'm not blaming Golas, I'm not blaming Matias. Whatever happened, their teams didn't finalize it, so that's why Subriel Matias ended up fighting Roberto Ramirez. And the funny thing about that, Golas and both Roberto Ramirez and Gabriel Golas both have in common that they both lost to William Zepeda a little while ago. But anyway, yeah, so now it seems like they're revisiting that. We'll see if it comes into fruition and it actually gets finalized. But the cool thing about this, or the interesting thing about this, is that this is an IBF title eliminator. So the winner of this fight will get a shot at Richardson Hitchins. And if it's Subriel Matias, he gets an opportunity to get his belt back, after losing it to Liam Parle. So this is good news for him. But he has to win because Golas is a dangerous fighter, and he's a pretty big puncher too himself. So I think Subriel Matias would win, and he should win. And it'll be very interesting to see if he gets the opportunity against Richardson Hitchins. Now, Richardson Hitchins, in the interim, while Matias is going to fight Golas, Richardson Hitchins is able to have a voluntary defense, so he could fight essentially anybody he wants in between time. So I'm interested to see who he fights. He's been having a lot of back and forth with George Kambosos lately, but George Kambosos is fighting somebody for a homecoming in Australia at 140, first debut at 140 in March, according to reports. So we'll see how that goes, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that Richardson Hitchins and Subriel Matias would be a good fight if they could both handle business. Richardson Hitchins in shape of a voluntary defense, and Subriel Matias in shape of another bounce back in Gabriel Golas. But man, I think that's a good fight. It's a fight that a lot of us want to see because at one point in time, Subriel Matias was in the top ranked position for he was in the #1 position for the IBF before Liam Parle beat Liam Parle. I mean, before Liam Parle beat Subriel Matias. So that mandatory was never called, but it was still an interesting fight that people want to see. I want to see. So we'll see if this fight actually happens. And man, I think that's a tough fight for Matias. I think stylistically, it's a tough fight for Matias, and I think it's a tough fight for Hitchins as well. So we'll see how that goes, man. I think right now, just off of momentum, I think you would likely want to lean towards what the heck's going on? I think you would likely want to lean towards Richardson Hitchins, but I like I said, I think stylistically that's a tough fight for both of them. Richardson Hitchins has a lot of momentum, but he has to be careful. I would lean towards Richardson Hitchins slightly right now, but man, I don't know, man. I have to think about that for a while. I think that Subriel Matias is a tough fight for anybody, but it's definitely a tough fight for Richardson Hitchins because he's gonna have a tough time trying to keep Hitchins. Hitchins gonna have a tough time trying to keep Matias off of him, but Hitchins is gonna bend. He's gonna have the advantage with his range and his footwork, right? So his superior footwork. So like I said, I think stylistically that's a good fight, and I don't know who comes out on top, man. But I will lean towards Richardson Hitchins right now. But look forward to him and Gabriel Golas, Subriel Matias and Gabriel Golas in the future, man. I'm looking forward to that fight too. If that fight actually happens, because it actually fell through the cracks before. Now, as far as Richardson Hitchins, I was thinking like, who the heck could he fight? Because he's looking for a homecoming fight in New York for a voluntary defense. I just don't know who he could fight, man. I think there's quite a few people he could fight, but I don't know who he will end up landing on. Let's pull up some of the potential fighters that he could go at it with. Of course, like you said, we talked about George Kambosos, but that won't be a homecoming fight for Richardson Hitchins to go down to Australia because he said he's looking for his next fight to be in New York. So in the IBF, Jack Catterall's, no one's ranked #1, no one's ranked #2, so those are vacant, right? Not rated. But ranked #3 is Jack Catterall. Well, Jack Catterall is fighting the ranked #4 guy in the IBF, which is Arnold Barbosa. They're fighting each other for a shot at Teofimo Lopez's WBO belt. Then the 5th guy, Subriel Matias, obviously, and who's fighting Gabriel Golas, which in the title eliminator to get Richardson Hitchins, and Gabriel Golas Valenzuela is coincidentally ranked #6. So essentially, there's no rank #2, there's no rank #1, and 3 through 6 are occupied with each other. 3 and 4 fighting Jack Catterall and Barbosa respectively, and Matias and Valenzuela fighting 5 and 6 respectively. So the next up is Elvis Rodriguez. Maybe he could fight him as a voluntary, but Elvis Rodriguez, who's ranked number 7, they're talking about him fighting Alamo. Yahir Alamo, I believe, is his first name. Yahir, I believe. So he's even occupied. Then the 8th one is Carlton Agraba, which I don't really know much about him. And then number 9 is Jose Carlos Ramirez, and number 10 is Dalton Smith. I don't think any of them are viable options to be ranked. To be Richardson Hitchins' homecoming fight. So, like I said, there's a lot of options there, but I don't know what the heck is going on at 140 in the IBF division right now, or what's next. I knew what's going on, but what's next for Richardson Hitchins? He has a lot of options, man. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, we just got to pay attention, man. I'm very much so looking forward to this movement at 140, and that's the thing about 140 relative to 135, right? Like 135 has the I would say 135 has the right now as the champions. 135 has the bigger stars with Tank, Shakur, Loma, even though he's hurt, and Dennis Berinchyk is not really a big star, but he's about to fight Keyshawn Davis, who's a budding star. So I think 135 is one of the most interesting divisions, but 140 is also a strong division too. But the great thing about 140 is that they actually fight, man. Like they're getting more fight. Minus Teofimo. Subtract Teofimo from the equation. At 140, they fight. There's a lot of movement. Like, there's rarely any stagnation. You had Rolly Romero get a belt. He lost to Isaac Pipo Cruz. Isaac Pipo Cruz got his belt. He lost to the Jose Rayo Valenzuela. You know what I'm saying? All this is last year. Then Subriel Matias had a belt. He lost to Liam Parra. Liam Parra got the belt, and Richardson Hitchins acquired it from him. And then the only one that hasn't really been moving like that either is, like we said, the WBO, because Teofimo fought Steve Claggett and Jermaine Ortiz last year. And then the WBC with after Devin Haney has been declared champion of recess, Alberto Puello and Sandro Martin haven't been moving. So we'll see if that fight actually comes into fruition. And because they're already talking about Jose Rayo Valenzuela fighting Gary Anton Russell, and I think that's a great fight. I think that fight will be fire. My personal opinion, but we'll see how it goes. But we got my boy Define Irony in the building. What's good, brethren? Man, God bless you too, man. What's good with you, man? Haven't heard from you in a minute, man. Hopefully everything's good. I seen you in the chat earlier this morning. I'm talking about hopping in the Discord, man. I want to know your opinion, bro. What do you think about Subriel Matias' next fight against Gabriel Golas? You think it's gonna happen? And if it happens, you think he's gonna win? Hey, man, I think a lot of people will be excited to see him attempt to get his belt back from what's my boy name from Richardson Hitchins, man. I think that's a good fight, and has a lot of potential to happen, because I think Richardson Hitchins for his homecoming will take a nice little soft touch, as he should, and then I think Subriel Matias will get by Gabriel Golas, but we'll see, because Gabriel Golas is on a nice little streak. Like I said, he's not a big puncher, but he's a decent puncher, so we'll see how that goes with Subriel Matias. But Subriel Matias should take that one and put himself right back in title contention, man. So we'll see how that goes. He said, I could chop it up with you in about an hour if you can. All right, but I don't know if I'm going to be on that long. I said it was going to be a short show because we're going to get back on and commentate for the shows in England tomorrow, for the fights in England. But I just want to hop on and give that little update in regards to Subriel Matias potentially fighting Gabriel Golas, because I'm a little hungry. I just dropped the video. I'm a little hungry too, But yeah, I just want to update that. But if I'm still on, then heck yeah, man, chop it up for real, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure to chop it up with my boy. But yeah, so at 140, I think there's a lot of good news at 140. Now, as far as the smaller weight divisions, yeah, I think that revisiting Goodman and Inoue, man, I think that Inoue should move on, but I don't know if he's going to, but I think that's more indicative. That was a nice shot. Even though he didn't, I think it's more indicative that he's gonna wait again. I think this is kind of indicative of him not wanting to fight MJ Akhmadaliev. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think that's just I think like I said, I think Inoue beats Akhmadaliev. I think he beats Sam Goodman. I think he beats David Picasso. But I think MJ Akhmadaliev stylistically is the biggest threat, and I just don't think Inoue considers the risk matching the rewards. That's why I think he hasn't been fighting him. So, but that doesn't change the fact that he deserves it. So we'll see what he does. But if I had to put money on it, I think that he would either fight David Picasso or wait on Sam Goodman, man. That's what I think. Don't forget to smack that like button too. But it's yet to be seen. But tomorrow we have some fights with Caroline Dubois that I'm very excited about. Caroline Dubois versus Jessica Kamara, and that's at 2 p.m. So we will be live for that. And then I'm trying to think. That's it, really. You know, especially with Sam Goodman and Nia Inoue. I think January is a pretty slow month, man. But you know, in February we're gonna turn up because February 1st, good Lord willing, we have David Benavidez versus David Morrell. That's gonna be a good fight, and that card is decent too with Jason Rosario versus Jesus Ramos, and Brandon Figueroa versus Stephen Fulton for that rematch. And I know I'm missing somebody else. Isa Pitbull Cruz and Angel Fierro. So those are good fights there. And then February 22nd, we have that phenomenal card. I skipped February 14th, actually. February 14th, we have Keyshawn Davis, Denise Berenchik versus Keyshawn Davis defending his title, his WBO title, 135. And then you got Jared Baby Anderson versus Marios Kolias on the undercard. And Abdullah Mason against Manuel Jaimes on the undercard. And then after that, that's February 14th, Valentine's Day, showing Love Day in the ring. It's Love Day in the ring. They're showing love in the ring. February 22nd is the big banger, man. I'm talking about Beterbiev versus Bivol rematch for undisputed at light heavyweight 175. You got Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker, which I think people are sleeping on Joseph Parker. I got Dubois winning, but I think people are sleeping on Joseph Parker. Shakur Stevenson versus Kid Austin. I think that's an underrated fight too. I think Shakur is going to win, but I think Kid Austin is going to put up a better fight than people anticipate. And then Ajit Kabay, Zale Zhang, you know what I'm saying? Zale Big Bang Zhang versus Ajit Kabaya, Ajit who's legit. That's a great heavyweight fight. And we got Israel Madrimov versus Virgil Ortiz. That's a good fight right there. I got Israel Madrimov. And then we got Joshua Boatsy versus Callum Smith, and that's going to be a sleeper too. You know, I don't think that as far as profile and marketability goes, that's not the biggest fight. That's probably the smallest fight. But I think that fight is a good fight. I think that whole card is stacked, man. So we'll see how that goes, man. But yeah, that's it for the update. I'm gonna go ahead and call it, go grab me some snacky snacks, and then I'll be back tomorrow, good Lord willing, man. So tap in with the Caroline Dubois fight, and yeah, man, I just want to update that on Subriel Matias, man, and his potential to get back in line for Richardson Hitchins in that IBF belt, man. It's very interesting, man. 140 stays hot, man. So appreciate y'all rocking. Don't forget to smack that like button. And remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow for the live commentary. Yes, sirski. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.